I became an amputee at 3 months old. I was born with a rare condition that has left me with a shortened arm and shortened leg on my left side since birth. Meaning I was always destined to look somewhat like this. Cute, disabled, all the fabulous things. Anyway, my particular rare disease does not just affect limb growth and development, but also the skin on that particular side of the body. Meaning there's a lot of discomfort when I go to do traditional things that amputees and people with limb differences can do. The number one thing being putting on a prosthetic consistently. Wearing my prosthetic every once in a while is not a big deal. But if I were to wear it for 8 hours a day, every single day of the week, yikes, my skin would be screaming. So that's just like not a reality for me. And it took me a really long time to learn that it doesn't have to be all or nothing when it comes to wearing my prosthetic. You see, growing up, instead of just taking a couple of days off here or there to let my skin breathe and let my skin heal, I just cut out wearing my prosthetic altogether for months and sometimes even years at a time. And by years, I mean pretty much going almost a full decade of my life without ever putting a prosthetic on. That was a choice that I don't necessarily regret because it is part of my journey, but it has not helped me now as an adult who wants to wear the prosthetic more regularly. You see, the issue with taking massive breaks of time in between wearing a prosthetic is that you lose muscle development in your residual limb, which makes walking very, very difficult. And it's why today, as a 26-year-old woman, I oftentimes still use a walking stick and struggle with my posture while I walk. I just don't have the strength here yet to be able to sustain myself for long distances. I've had several doctors and several physiotherapists tell me that they are a little shocked by how little strength I actually do have in this limb, but they've all said that hope is not lost on me, that there are exercises I can do that over time will help me walk just a little bit smoother. I may never have a perfect gait, I may never walk without some form of a limp, and for long distances I might need additional mobility support, but already their advice has helped me gain more confidence and more stability as I go out and walk around in my day-to-day life. And the best part about the exercises I'm going to show you in today's video is that I don't need to wear my prosthetic for them. There are several exercises I can do with the prosthesis on that are very helpful in building muscle, but there are some days that I just cannot put my prosthetic on. My skin will hate me forever if I wear it all the time. So with that all said, hey y'all, my name is Jessica Jordan, also known as the Rolling Explorer, and today I'm going to show you some floor exercises I can do without my prosthetic on to help build the muscle in my residual limb to make walking easier. Let's go! Hello, and welcome to the floor.
So for today's video,
This is gonna be weird.
so if you didn't know, I just moved to downtown Chicago, and so I don't have every single thing I'm gonna need for the rest of my life in my new apartment yet.
And one of the things I do not have is like a yoga mat. Partially because my building has a fitness center and it didn't seem like something I would need right away. So for the purposes of this video, we are using my vinyl floor because that's what we have. So let me show you as best as I can here what muscles we're trying to target with these exercises. So obviously my residual limb is fairly short. It's not very big. It's above the knee and it's like significantly above the knee. So that means we're using a lot of our hips and our glutes to get that prosthetic to really move forward. Particularly, one area that you might not think is actually super important is this side right here. You may be thinking, oh, wouldn't you need to swing backwards and forwards? Yes, you do, but in order to stabilize inside of the prosthetic, you really have to use all of your muscles to push against the side wall of the prosthetic to really lock down in there in order to be able to take the weight off of, well, for me, my right foot. Essentially meaning that's how I am able to balance on the prosthesis. I just push as hard as I can with this hip flexor, essentially doing that to really stabilize inside of that socket. Oh, knees. So with that in mind, that's a huge target area for me and not something that I really knew to work on my own before going to physical therapy. So I'm sure you can already guess a little bit where I'm going with this, but one of the best ways for me to build muscle in my prosthetic is to do leg lifts. And
particularly ones where I'm on my side. So I just lay here, my arm under my head like this. This is, I think, the best way to align your spine is what I was taught in dance class when I was growing up. So I always try to do this. And then just lift and really focus on the muscles, each individual one. It's not about speed, it's not about height, it's about trying to lift as much as possible and really feeling each individual strand of muscle engage and lock into place to really target that area. And one of the best things that I have found to do while I do exercise is that feel this tedious and feel this easy so I don't get bored and start rushing through the process is to watch TV or listen to music or do something that is entertaining as I lift my leg up into the air. To make these exercises a little bit more complicated, you can add a rubber band to help. Just add a rubber band that's not going to snap in half like the one that I just barely pulled apart. That was wild. I clearly need to get a new one. It will still work for the process of today, I think. But as helpful as a rubber band is for building strength and adding tension over time, it's much easier to add when you have someone to help you, like a family member, a friend, a partner. But another trick is you can tie it to a sturdy piece of furniture. Not gonna lie, this bar stool is a little easily manipulated. So it might not be the best example, but you'll get the gist of what I'm saying. Now that I've successfully broken this rubber band in half, I clearly don't have enough here to accurately show you how this looks. Oh my god, the chaos in this video. But you'll get the gist. So you Hi, I clearly need some new equipment because that was ridiculous. You get the point, you get what I'm trying to show you. You use the furniture when you're by yourself. Now, another important aspect of building strength is actually in your core. So I use my core muscles when I hop, but I also use it to balance myself while I'm walking. And particularly that lower core on the left side is really important in pushing the leg forward and essentially launching myself into my next step when I am wearing my prosthetic. So one exercise I can do to help with this are bridges. And I know what you're thinking, wouldn't these be more effective with the prosthetic on? While I can do them with the prosthetic on too, and they do help in a slightly different way, this is still all about just making sure I'm targeting the right muscles. So it's about tightening here and tightening in the glutes. So really feeling it all the way around here. So I'm really engaging this area and this area right here. And then finally, the last floor exercise that I'm going to show you today are back kicks just like this. Now I know what you're thinking, Jess, are you even moving your leg at all? Well, if you look closely, there is a bit of movement. But again, it's not about lifting the leg as high as possible. I could sit here and lift it all the way up here and you would clearly be able to tell that there's a lot of things happening here. But in order to do this, I'm also engaging my lower back, I'm twisting. It's not good, and it's exactly what we don't want to happen when I'm walking. So instead, I focus on just engaging those glute muscles and not even necessarily lifting the residual limb off the floor. Instead, it's just about engaging those muscles and really, really, really precisely feeling resistance. Again, this is something that you could add a rubber band to add some resistance into it, especially if you've already done it several times without resistance. But there you have it. Those are 3 small little exercises I can do to help me be more stable and confident as I strut my stuff with my prosthetic on as a loud and proud disabled woman. I will see you next time. Bye!